More? Yeah. Okay.
All right, day 295. We're going live today. We're looking at this property that I just found on 817 Beacon Drive. So here's what's going on. I'm doing a renovation right now on a 3-bedroom home in the same zip code in Fairfield, right over here. So I'm paying close attention to this property because I have a 3-2 that I'm turning to a 4-2, also with about 1388 square feet. So this property is definitely a little bit bigger, but I'm also paying close attention because I want to see what it sells for on the price per square foot. So let's take a look at this property, right? It's look pretty renovated. This is probably what my hardwood's gonna look like. I'm refinishing my hardwood, but then I'm redoing the entire kitchen, turning it into a 4-bedroom. Let's see, bathroom looks pretty good for the most part. All right, let's go ahead and do this. So now with this property, let's look at it as a on-market rental. So I'm gonna go look up the small area FMR by Googling HUD FMR, click on the top link, looking up FY small area FMR, which stands for fair market rent, and then looking up FY 2024. Then I'm gonna click on Alabama, and this property is in Jefferson County. You can do that just in case you don't know how to. Just do a control find on the word county, and you see it's Jefferson County. And now I'm gonna get by bedroom count, by zip code, what the maximum rent is for a 4-bed. And you're gonna see right here that it says 1520 right here. 1520. Okay. No, if I turn on my chat, I apologize. Sometimes I always forget to do that. All right, so now that I got these details in here, I'm gonna write down what my rents look like for this property. At 1520, that's my 4-bed, 35064, 1520. And my 3-bed is going to be 1360. All right. So writing down all these numbers because my partners know exactly how to analyze deals. 35064, 35064. And that's how I get my rent ceilings. Next thing you want to do is you need to get the market rent. So in order to get the market rent, you can go to affordablehousing.com. I go to the owner section, go to market rent estimator, plug in the address, plug in bedroom count. Now, the most important number right here is that it says on average for 24 units, the average rent is $13.36. So I feel pretty good using $13.25, whatever, as my rent for a 4-bed. Even for my own property, I'll keep you all updated once I get my tenants in there, which would take another like 2 months, I'm guessing, to get the inspection out there and everything. Okay. So 1925, 1200, 200, 1336. 1336. Put that right there. And I'm using 1336 as my rent, right? And not the 1520, because usually the 1520 includes utilities. And in this scenario, since I'm not providing utilities, I have to deduct a certain amount. But because the market rent is lower than the rent ceiling, I'm going to use the lower of the two. Right, there's also this test, and I'm going to pull it up for you right now so you guys can kind of see it. Let's write down the radius, 2.35. It's called the rent reasonableness test, all right? And what I'm pulling up for you right now is the Housing Choice Voucher Program Guidebook, okay? HCV, Housing Choice Voucher. Housing Choice Voucher was previously known as the Section 8 program. But now, when I go up and I look up Section 8, it's going to be rebranded to Housing Choice Voucher because they're trying to get away from all the negative connotation associated with the word Section 8. Probably just due to misinformation and just bad media coverage, in my opinion. So, Section 2.2. In conducting rent reasonableness, the PHA, the Public Housing Authority, must determine whether the rent to the owner is a reasonable rent in comparison to rent for other comparable unassisted units. This basically means that you can't charge more rent for your unit to someone simply because they are a voucher holder, right? You got to charge what's fair on the market. So obviously there's different factors that affect what you can charge in terms of size, unit type. So apartment should be compared to an apartment, while a single family home should be compared to single family homes. But it's very rare that you will see 4-bedroom apartments. So that's why I have pretty high confidence that I can use this 1336 number right here because I looked at 4 bedrooms specifically in this area. Now you look at 3 bedrooms, you can probably see that it's a little bit lower at 1,024, so a lot lower, $300 difference. So that's why I'm converting our single family in this area to a 4-bed from a 3-bed. All right. So let's go ahead and analyze this deal. Let's plug in some numbers here. $172,000 is the listed price, 172. And for the most part, to be honest, this doesn't look like it needs much rental. Like it looks fully painted. And I like how much demand there is right now because of how many views it's got. So for me, because they only showed the picture for 1 bathroom and not 2 bathrooms, I might assume that something's going on with the other bathroom. So I'm just going to assume that I need to paint that other part. So it equals 18, how many square foot? 1838. I'm going to divide this by 6. So maybe there's 300 square feet that needs some touch-up painting. And then for that bathroom, I'm just going to replace that toilet in the other bathroom. I got $500 for landscaping since it's got a pretty big, large lot. And I got $1,500 for the roof repair just to kind of keep everything in place. All right. So that gives me total rehab of about $4,000, which isn't much at all. $1,336 for the rent. For my taxes, I'm going to scroll down to Redfin and just get the taxes right here, which says it's 106 on the payment calculator. And then they estimate 133 for insurance. So I'm going to do equals 133. I'm going to add a 20% premium. I'm going to do that by multiplying it by 1.2. So equals 133 times 1.2 and cell B29. And that's how I added 20% premium to it. Oh, whoops, what happened to that? 106. Now, usually estimates for insurance is for someone that's living there as a prime residence. So if you turn it into a rental property, it's very, very typical for a insurance policy for a rental property to cost more than a residence because they assume and they typically classify rental properties as higher risk. Okay. So now that I got that expenses in for taxes and insurance, I got 10% for my maintenance. So this is money I set aside every single month, right? It's money that doesn't belong to me because I know at some point I'm going to have to replace something in the home. The HVAC, the roof, the water heater, doesn't matter what it is, a clogged toilet, something's going to happen. So you got to set aside that money every single month for maintenance. Then I got 10% for property management, and I got 5% for vacancy. So someone always moves out eventually. All right. So to calculate my rest of my numbers now, let's go to my entry fee. So I'm going to change my down payment in F19 to 25%. I'm going to calculate my down payment as my asking price in B4 multiplied by my down payment percentage in F19. So for a $172,000 property, I will be giving a down payment of $43,000. There's no arrears. This is from the old underwriting from a deal. I got 2.5% for closing costs. I got $4,000 for the renovations, and then I need to calculate my financing amount now. So my amount that I'm borrowing for this property is going to equal to my asking price of $172,000 in B4 minus my down payment amount in E19. So I would be borrowing $129,000, right? That's 75% of the purchase price. My interest rate, I'm using 8.25% right now. I think it's going up and down, but I'm just going to be a little bit more conservative. It's right around like high 7s, low 8s right now for a DSCR loan. At least the ones that I've been getting quoted on. So 721, 24. So now I got my details in for the payment. Here's how much I'm cash flowing a month, right? If I assume I'm getting 1336 for a 4-bed, right? So let's write this scenario out. 1336. I will be negative $233 cash flow a month minus 5.4%. And then my purchase price is $172,000. Okay. So now that you got all these numbers in here, right? You got to figure out. Hi, Soleil. What are you doing? Yeah, so cool. Good job, Soleil. Okay, 1 second, okay? I got 2 more scenarios. All right, so now what I want you to pay attention to is look what happens to the cash and cash return as I adjust the asking price. Soleil, cool. All right, so now that I got my asking price in here, I'm gonna lower this to, let's say, $120,000. See how they just flip positive? let's say I lower it to 100 grand. Now it's 6.6, 90 grand. Here we go. So now this is finally getting close to my 10%. So this is 9.6. So this would be a deal. And again, this is not investment advice. I'm not soliciting any investments on this call. Just simply showing you all the work that I'm doing every single day.
Hi.
You want to say hi?
Yeah.
Yeah, come on, say hi. You can say hi to the live. You can say hi.
Hi.
Good job. Say hi. Good job, Soleil. We look at some analyzing deals together. We're helping people. All right. So now that we got a cash and cash return of 9.6%, this was assuming a purchase price of $90,000.
Daddy.
Yes, Soleil?
Take you a picture.
Want to take a picture? Go. Can you show mommy? You're welcome. We're at 25% for my down payment, 8.25% interest rate, and that becomes a deal, quote unquote, right? Obviously, your investment criteria is going to be dependent on your own criteria. For some folks, they just want to break even, frankly, on the cash flow because they might be in a very high appreciating market, such as California, right? Very, very typical. And they say, hey, I don't care about $200 a month if I want to make 5% on $1 million home every single year, right? Very, very different mentality, very, very different approach. So that's why you have to decide what's right for you, for your risk tolerance, and talk to your own investment professionals. So now that I got this stuff in place, I'm going to go mess around with scenarios a little bit more. What if this property stays on the market for so long, right? And that's why I'm paying attention to this property, because if there's so much demand for a property at 172 grand and it's got viewed 2,200 times in just 9 days, who knows? It might be flying off. But in the event that it does not fly off the shelves, right? Now all of a sudden, well, what if I'm able to go back to 172 grand, right? 172 grand. And instead of trying to modify the purchase price because the seller probably wants to make as much money as possible, I can offer, well, Mr. or Miss Seller, what if I gave you 172 grand, but you got to give me the terms that I need to make it work. So now if I got 2.5% interest rate, right? So I'm still giving 25% down of 43 grand. But if the seller decides to finance at 2.5%, it becomes a 5.3% cash and cash return. If I turn it to zero, okay, now all of a sudden we're talking a little bit better. So this might be good enough for me if it's 8.8%, but for me that's still a little bit low. But it's not gonna make a break deal by like 0.08%. So you can still rent it out for $1,336, and this time you cash flow $378 a month. You're still paying 172 grand for the property. Your rehab, assuming it's still 4 grand, 25% down, but now all of a sudden it's a 0% financing deal, which means that you're only making principal only payments to the seller every single month. There is no interest portion of it. So that's another way to approach it, the deal, the offer. And that's what I want to show you all today, right? For every single deal, there is a set of terms that would make it a deal or a purchase price that would make it a deal. It's up to you to decide how to go and approach it in a way that makes sense for you so that you can take emotions out of the deal and stay objective on what you want to do there. Dun, dun, dun. Good job, Soleil. All right. So my hope for you today is to copy my homework. Look at the same deal I looked at today using the same spreadsheet, right? This is a property that's right on MLS. It's only been on the market for 9 days. Go to my website, affordablehousing.io, and then what you guys can do is go to get the deal analysis tool. Put in your name, your email, your phone number. Promise I won't spam you. And then this is the fastest way for me to automate sending out the spreadsheet to you. All right. I hope you all have an amazing Sunday. I hope you all spend some quality time with your family and friends today. I hope you all stay consistent with me, right? Because this is how we build the habits. We've gone live for the past 295 days in a row together. There's no reason why we can't keep going to 365, because then now you will know that you can do something every single day for a year, even though you could have had 1,000 excuses for not to do it. But if you do it, you're going to come out on the other side a different person. And you will know how to hack yourself and your brain to become the best version of yourself. So have an amazing Sunday. I'll be back here again tomorrow for day 296. Have a good one.